Hi and welcome to the channel. In this episode, work continues on the 1978 Corvette Pacecar as I endeavour to prepare it for being made legal here on New Zealand roads. I set myself a deadline, I'm wearing jandals, I'm good to go. Stay tuned and find out if I can make it. Okay, so here we are. I've got the car jacked up and a safety stand underneath the chassis, of course. I've removed the stainless steel sill trim, which you need to do to get access to the bolts that hold one of the covers underneath here, so you can access the EVAP canister. I looked up the proper name for it last night. And so that EVAP canister, I guess, is a device hooked up to your fuel system, which takes the gas vapors out of your fuel tank and recycles them and stops them from going into the atmosphere, I guess. A lot of cars, or older cars at least, the petrol tanks vented to the atmosphere. And I guess they got to a stage in the 70s where they decided that was not such a good idea. And so now they have a contained system where the gas vapors go from the fuel tank, come forward to this canister, which is filled with filters and charcoal, and it stores the vapor until the car is run, and then it draws that out of the canister through the carburetor and burns it. So it's probably a cool little system. I guess it's what you have to do with what they had to do back in the day, to meet emission standards, and I think they still do something similar today. So anywho, it's probably never been serviced, I'd imagine, in this car's lifetime. I can't be sure of that, but it's a good chance. So it's probably definitely in need of servicing, and I'm sure that's why I'm getting the gassy smell inside the garage when I come in here first thing in the morning. So that's not me doing that, by the way, that's the car. Pretty sure this needs servicing, so it has to come out to access my washer pump motor anyway. So I'm going to kill two birds with one stone here, hopefully service the EVAP canister and then get to the washer motor in the bottle reservoir and get both those jobs done. So first thing I'm going to do is about 3 or 4 hoses going to the canister. I'm just got a little silver marker sharpie pen here, which I'm going to use to just mark the hoses so I know where they go back onto the canister, and then I can pull the canister out of there and have a good look at it. And I'm hoping with this model year that the canister is actually serviceable and not a sealed unit. If it's serviceable, then from what I understand, it's a fairly simple process of replacing the filters and the charcoal and popping it back in place. So that's my mission today, is service that and also get that washer pump out. So let's see how we go. Got my dog mat. Right, so I've got light now, and there's the canister. So just to go backwards, there's a little cover plate, just a little panel for these that bolts underneath the car just to protect that canister. So 4 bolts hold that on. So now I've got that off, I can actually get it off. There's a couple of bolts that hold the canister bracket on through the wheel well here, and I've got those out, and the canister's just flopping around in here. So it's just a matter of marking up these hoses so I know which way they go back on, and then I can pull the canister out hopefully. I'm sure the hoses will be pretty well sealed onto the canister. I've got to be a little bit careful I don't break any of those plastic bits. I don't mind if I have to cut some of the hoses to get them out. That's not a problem. But if I start breaking off the plastic tees and bits and pieces, then yeah, that's going to be a problem. So I'm just going to mark these hoses, you know, 1 1 2 2 3 3, and hopefully I'll get them back on the right place. Let's see if I can get some dust and dirt in my face here. Yep. Let's see if I can get that one off that I've labelled for a start. Oh, yeah, they are well and truly seized. Oh no, there we go, give them a twist and come on, girl. Oh. That's one. Eating dirt for breakfast. Where's my pen gone? There it is. Bottom hose. Looking up. Bottom hose. B for bottom. It's always been B for bottom. Oh, here we go. Ah, yes. Oh, now we're talking. Twist it around here and get a good look. So they're different size hoses, so that means you can't actually get it wrong. That's helpful. Okay, so those two go together, so that's good to note. They've been taped together by a previous person, so maybe this has been serviced back in the day, you know? Maybe I'm wrong. The hoses are looking a little bit crusty. Okay, stay. Okay, so the last hose coming off like that. There it is. There we have it. That's the canister. I believe this part here will twist out and give me access to everything I need to access, I hope. Alright, well that's cool. And now, yeah, maybe that might be leaking. And now I should be able to get a clear view, and I can, at the washer pump, which is looking very rusty. So it'd be no surprise if that's not working. I'll get you in here to have a wee look at what this looks like, and talk about the process of getting that motor out. Let's have a look at this, you guys. I might just go wash my hands first. Okay, so here we are looking up through the hole I've just pulled that canister out of. So you're looking at the bottom of the washer reservoir right there, and then you can see that, I wonder if I can zoom up on this while I'm doing this. There's the motor. You can see it's got a lot of rust on it, surface rust on the outside. So I believe, from what I understand, it's a real faff to get this bottle out of here, but it seems like it would drop down through this hole without that big a deal. But the other option is to take the neck off the top of the bottle, which is just a press fit apparently, the filler neck, and then get a socket on a long extension and reach down through the bottle, and there's a nut on top of the washer motor inside the bottle that you have to take off, and that lets the motor drop out from the bottom apparently. So I don't know, I'm pretty keen to try and drop this bottle out of here if I can, to be honest. It doesn't seem like it'd be that hard, but I'll have a wee look at this, have a wee play, and I'll come back to you with a decision on what I'm doing, or what I might actually already done. We'll see how things progress here.
Right, so just looking down on the water bottle just to show you what I'm up against. You can see right in the middle of the picture there, there's a bolt there, a nut holding that water tank on there. So I guess that's one of the challenges, getting to that, and I guess there's another one underneath. You can see, can I show you, that water neck comes down, hits the top of the bottle there, and then that should, it is loose, so I can probably just about pull it out now. It's tied into the body here. That'll pull out. Now I need to empty the fluid out of it, which I put in to test the motor. And then I am going to try and get to the bolts that hold that bottle in. I'm going to do it even though they say you can't do it, and see if I can get that bottle out of there, because I'm stubborn like that. So let's give this a crack and see how we go. Well, there you have it. That came out straight out through the bottom, easy as pie. So I don't know, maybe this model year they have a smaller tank which comes out easier, but and that just fell out. So as you can see, there's the motor, and no surprise that doesn't work. I will test it before I bother taking it out, but I'm pretty sure that's going to be toast. And if you look down there's the top of the motor, or the pump. So on top of there is a nut that holds it into the bottle. So got to get a long reach socket down in there, and then it should just pop straight out of there. So before I do that, I will just put 12 volts to it and see what it does, but I don't expect anything to happen. Alright, so I just wanted to show you what I've done today with this window washer reservoir. It's Saturday, and I couldn't buy a new washer pump today. This is the old one. You can see I did actually get this going for about 2 seconds, believe it or not. I pulled it apart, cleaned it, put it back together, and it wound up good for about 2 seconds, then stopped, and I couldn't get it to go again, so it's just not reliable enough to put back in. So instead, what I did is end up utilising part of it. So off of here is where the it went up into the tank with the filter. So I've cut that off because it had a flange on it, and I've utilised some hose plumbing hardware that I have on the shelf. And so as you can see, the original filter's still in there in connection, and it comes out the bottom with the rubber O-ring there. Where's my finger? There's my O-ring. And then from there, the flange of the old pump is clamped up in behind here, and then it's just connected with regular outdoor hose clamps. And so today just happened to be the day of our annual swap meet, vintage car swap meet. And so I took my chances, went for a drive out there, and found a washer pump. Actually, I found 2 washer pumps. There they are, identical pumps, which I paid the grand total of $1 for. It turns out this one is also toast though, it doesn't work. So, you know, I paid $1 for one pump, I guess. So anywho, this is actually a Ford, I think it's out of a Ford Falcon. Pretty standard little unit. And these ones are just a pressure fit. So they would usually just press into the bottom of the tank. And I've now got that utilised into the bottom of this little gadget here. So if this ever does go out again, I know I can get one easy enough. And I don't pull the whole bottle out to replace it. I just simply pull it off the end here and put a new one on. Just pushes in there. So I am now going to put that back in the car and get back on to the canister, the carbon canister, or what do they call these things? See if I can get this apart and service this also. Okay, so here's my canister, and just taking a closer look at it, you can see it's got some, just there's a slot, another one there, half a dozen of those around the outside, and so I'm pretty sure I can use that to pry. Yes, there we go. Okay, so you can see the state of that. It's quite a mess. So I've got to replace this. So I'm just going to carefully I'm not going to be able to get this out without destroying it. Maybe I can, no, there we go. It's just going to rip in half. That's okay. But it's no wonder this car was fumey, because this is just saturated. And you can see the bits of charcoal in there also. And at this stage I'm not sure where to go from here. Does this pry off? I don't know, but looking, see, you can see there's another filter underneath there, which is also chock-a-block with, well, whatever, fuel vapors, leftover fuel, however this thing works. I've got to get that out of there, get this thing cleaned right out. And I don't know, looking at the top of this, I've got a feeling this has been apart before. I can see remnants of some sort of glue around here around the top, so I think they might have taken the top of this at some stage. So it might have been serviced much before. Either way, I've got to try and do it again without destroying it. So let's see how this goes. Maybe I should take that clamp off to help for a start. That might help release things a bit. Oh, now all that carbon's just falling out. Oh well, or charcoal. It's just falling on the ground. Oh my goodness. I don't know how it comes out through there, but anyway it is. So anyway, I'm gonna make a mess. And I'm gonna spray that down for a start. I'm gonna see if I can catch as much of this charcoal as I can. Whether I'll use it or not. Okay, interesting, isn't it? It's chock-a-block. So this may still be serviceable, this charcoal. I don't know. I don't know if you should do that or not, or just replace it. I'm sure it's not expensive. Apparently you can get it from, it's the same thing as they use in fish tank filters. Okay, well I'm going to have just to stop here a minute and get a container for that stuff. And I'll see how much more wants to come out of this. Just keeps on coming. Whew, definitely smells petrol-y. So I think I'm just going to be replacing this charcoal. I think what I've seen in the bottom here is just charcoal and fuel mixed together, and it's just forming a little layer of funk against that filter I pulled out. I'm gonna get a torch or a light of some sort in here and see if I can see what's going on inside there. I think I can see I think I can see a filter now. What have I got for a torch around here? Sorry, flashlight for some of you people. Hold on. All I can see is a small hole at the end, about 1.5 inches around, and some sort of material. I'm thinking it's probably a filter in there, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to get to it without pulling this apart some more. So I proceeded to try and remove the bottom of the canister, simply trying to force a screwdriver into the join there and just trying to break that glue line, and then eventually I was able to run the screwdriver around the join and just to keep on breaking that away from the canister, and as you'll see, it came away fairly cleanly in the end. So with that end cap successfully removed, there's 2 foam filters in there to remove, and from there it was just a case of giving it a quick clean out in preparation for the new filters.
Alright, here we are, it's the next day, and I've been down to the local pet supply store and picked up what I think I need to complete the refurb of my EVAP canister. And that is, I picked up a jar of these carbon Chemcarb pellets to replace the ones that I took out of the canister. It's 1200 grams, and looks like it should be perfect amount for putting in this. Pretty much the same size, so it should be more than enough to go in there. I've got some of this micro pad filter material, which I'll cut to suit, and then lastly I picked up a hose clamp, which I'll be putting around the outside of this base eventually to seal this up. The idea being that I want to be able to make this serviceable in the future, or easier to service in the future than it was to do this one, and I'll show you that process. But basically I'm just not going to put any sort of permanent glue on this. I think I'll just use silicone and a hose clamp and maybe some silicone pressure tape, and I think that should do the trick. It should seal it up nicely. So I'm going to start about that process now, and I will show you those tips as I go along. Okay, well, as you can see, I have 3 filters to replace for this canister, and I'm going to use the same material for all 3 filters. I don't think it matters too much. Just to show you, this one here that goes in the top is a foam, and that one that goes in the middle is also foam, but I'm going to use this micro filter. And then the bottom one is a solid one that goes, right at the bottom that I pulled out. So I'm just going to recreate those, and that should be a pretty simple process. I'm just going to make them just slightly oversized so they're a nice push fit inside the canister. Right, so there's one. And then I just need to cut the center out of that one. So what am I going to do? Can I do it like this? Something like this, maybe. Still not beautiful, but fine.
it'll be fine. It's like I bought one. So there's that one. So, because, well, is it usable? I'll cut it and see how it fits in the canister. So canister. So that's a nice neat fit in there. And then this piece goes in there, like so. And then this one goes in the sandwich in the bottom of the bottom cap. So I've just got to get this one in here. Let's see if I can manage to do that without breaking anything. Right. Just like that. And then that gets capped by the cap there. Finally presses on, done deal. So now all I need to do is get this in here, sealed, and we're good to go again. Well, apart from filling it full of carbon, of course. I think my approach to this is to get some of my silicone tape and wrap it around here. I've got enough clearance now that'll push in there. Then I'll use my hose clamp and clamp it on there, and I think that'll be as good as it needs to be. I might run some of that tape around the outside as well, and then hose clamp it. Maybe that'll be the best scenario. Righto, let's get that done. So now this dealio, I just want to clean up this here. There's some remnants of the case here, but I'm going to leave that here because that's just going to help it seal. If I put it back in the same place, it'll seal better. So self-fusing silicone repair tape. Again, I've talked about this before. Magic stuff, this. I really like it. It does an excellent job of sealing joints up. So basically I'm just going to put a layer of it around here. In fact, I might split this. And it stretches quite a bit, so I probably only need about half of the circumference to do this job. That's my guess. Let's see how good I am when I cut this. So yeah, I'm just going to split this down the middle. So now I'm going to take this . I think one of the cats got a cicada out there. Yeah, Ketchup got a cicada. And he's quite proud. So this stuff, I'm just going to stretch around and around and around. Is it long enough? I might have to have another go at this. I need it to stick to itself for it to stay in place. Come on. Yeah, look, just a little bit of overlap. And that's good to go. Great stuff, this. So it's a nice soft sealable material. It's a nice tight fit in here now. Right, Then I think what I'm going to do is use this tape again now on the outside, wrap it right round, and it should form a nice line around here. It'll just help seal up these couple of cracks I've got here. And then put my hose clamp on top of that, and that should be an easily serviceable unit from the future. Now I can pull this apart again, fill it full of the carbon. Okay. So I'm going to fill this up as much as I can, so within about half an inch from the top. Put a few miles on it. That should be good. Yep, that'll be perfect. Okay. Like so. Get a nice fit. Just got that nice pressure fit in there. Use this tape around the outside to seal it, and needs to go about there somewhere. So let's see if I can do this without making a mess. I want it to go about there, so hopefully it'll fold round onto the top. And then I'm going to peel the protective film off, and stretch it until it folds around the top. Okay, and so the more you stretch the stuff, the better it sticks. So that's what that's doing. It sticks so good, this stuff. It's amazing. And then you just push it down onto itself and it's done, you know. Brilliant stuff. I love it. So there's my canister, and it barely even needs that hose clamp, but I'm going to put that on anyway, just as a bit of guaranteed tightness. I reckon that is going to be magic. And again, to service it later on, all I have to do is cut it and it will just peel off, because again it doesn't stick to the plastic, it just sticks to itself. So, but because you're stretching it, it does get a nice tight seal to the plastic. So I'm happy with that result. I'm calling that canister good to go. So just as a reference, 1200 grams, 1.2 kg, and I've used about 2/3 of it, maybe 3/4 of it. So I guess that puts you at about 800 or 900 grams needed for this. Somewhere around there, 800 grams probably. I don't know if I'll use that again, depends how long this stuff lasts. But again, If it lasts a couple of years, I'll be happy with that. I know how to do this now. It's not a big deal to service it again. It's easy, easy, easy. Not afraid of this at all. Right, now, what happened to my bolt for this thing? So anyway, this is the stuff if you're interested in using it. Self-fusing silicone repair tape. And it's good just to have in your car for, you know, radiator repairs. Myself, I've had to use it once for that. I had a split hose on a radiator, and I was able to get home on just wrapping that split up with this stuff. So well worth having some in the car. Okay, back on my dog mat. I need to that up to the right. Now I can see if that motor is going to work. And I need a battery connected. Okay, so I've been faffing about with this washer bottle for the best part of a day, and I've got the new pump installed, or a new pump installed, but I'm having trouble getting power from the washer switch inside the car, and can't quite work it out. I've been reading up on the forums about it, and most things point towards the switch being faulty or some other controller in there, so I'm done with that nonsense. It shouldn't be this difficult. I am just going to install it, run some wires from it up to the engine bay, and then bring the wires from the dash up to the same point and zip tie them up there, so so that I can mess around it later on without having to, you know, get underneath the car. And also I want to get this EVAP unit back installed, and once I put that in, getting access to the bottom of that pump is that much more difficult. So I'm going to go ahead and get some wiring put up into the top side here, get that EVAP canister back in, and get the car back on the ground. Then I can muck around with this washer pump nonsense a bit more later on. As you can see, I've got a little light bulb here set up so that I could test the switch, and like I said, I just can't get power from that washer switch to the washer pump. We'll see how this goes. I'm just going to get this back in and reassembled and down on the ground. I've had about enough of it for a while. The only other thing to report, unfortunately, I've found that my washer bottle has a leak, and it's right. I don't know if this is going to show you. You might be able to see a faint line going across here, and that's cracked through there, and so it leaks from there. If you fill the container above that point, then it leaks from that point. So I guess I just won't fill the container from there up. I mean, the bulk of it is below that point, so it's not that big a deal, but it's just a, you know, another little design fault really. I guess it's where you can see where that's where it bolts to the wheel arch in a fender, and that's, you know, it's just cracking through there just from being done up too tight, or just vibration more than anything. It doesn't appear to be rubber mounted either, so I probably will put some sort of rubber mounts in behind these two fastening points just to try and stop that crack from going further. But I'm not going to mess around and get another bottle at this stage. I probably will replace it down the line, but there's no great need. I'm not going to be using this pump a whole lot, I don't imagine. So I'm just going to put it back in, and at some stage I'll get this pump operating again. Worst case scenario, it will be off a separate switch, but for now I'm done with it. I'm going to install it and keep on trucking. Alright, so here's the EVAP canister back in place. You can see I've put the date on it there just for reference later on. And yeah, not too bad a job really. But as far as that's concerned, the window washer has proven to be the biggest issue. But you know, apart from getting the various hoses onto the top, you can see there, you know, it's as bad as what I thought it was going to be. So moving on from this is going to be dun, 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 that. So body mounts, as you can see, these will be the original ones, and like pretty much everything else rubber on this car, it's just time to be replaced. So you can see the rust is not the biggest issue, it's the fact that the rubber's so badly perished, it's the real problem. So I'm going to be ordering some new ones of new mounts tomorrow, a new kit. There's 4 on each side, so I'll be going through that next. And then apart from that, then there's, much like everything else, just various rubbers that are perished. I've got a new one for that. That's the steering rack, hydraulic rack end. Pretty much anything rubber on this car as far as suspension and bushings needs to be replaced. So that's what I'm going to be working through. I've got most of them I need now that I know of, apart from these body mounts. So and then after that, I'm going to be going through and getting rid of all the surface rust off the chassis, you can see, and undersealing it and making it look nice and pretty. Alright, let's get this closed up now. Okay, so I've just put it back down on the ground after putting that EVAP canister back in. You can see I haven't put the sill trim back on yet because my next task is going to be involved doing the rubber mounts and getting underneath that car and doing some underseal work, so that might as well stay off until that's done. But anyway, just to show you where I'm at, I'm just letting the car run for a while just to charge that battery up. Here are the wires sticking up from the wash. These should be the washer wires here. I've got them plugged into the pump, but it's not working. But at least I can access it now easily, and if I need a hot wired or wire in a different separate switch, then that'll be easy to do from up here instead of trying to do it from underneath, or you know, trying to get to those wires. So wipers work. It's fast, slow, intermittent, and that should be pumping water now. At least the pump should be working, but it's not. But it is required again for getting the car legal here in New Zealand, so I will have to finish that job somehow. I might muck around for a little while today, just see if I can come up with another solution for it. Anyway, that's all for now. We'll come back probably later on in the week and show you where I'm at. Okay, so just to finish off this segment, just show you I did go ahead and install an independent switch for the window washer just underneath here, so it's nice easy reach, and just hot wired into the fuse box. So that works perfectly and helps make the car one step closer to being legal. And no doubt down the track at some stage I will replace the switch, which will take care of that issue and make it more original, but for now this works perfectly fine. Alright, moving on along. Well, that's the end of this episode. We're making good progress here on the Corvette though. Still lots to do, so make sure you come and check out the channel next time and see what I'm up to. Thanks for watching.